This is Tom Painter. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for being part of our world. Thank you for participating with us in the successandmoneyfoundation.org. So today I've got some good news, I've got some bad news, and I've got a solution. And my goal is to teach you and help you and motivate you to take some action. First, the good news. The good news is that every one of you on this call, every one of you in your family, sometime in their life, when you walk out the door and you see people down the street, everyone you see have three things in common. Number one, you're all going to make money. All of you are going to make money. Number two, all of you are going to manage that money. Now, even if you manage it badly, you're still managing it. And number three, you're going to spend money. You're going to make, manage, and spend money, all of you. Now, the good news is that depending on where you are in the world, and again, currency rates and different things, that all of you are going to make, manage, and spend between $1 and $10 million in your lifetime. If you're in America, that's a good number. If you live in California and work at McDonald's, you're going to make over $2 million in your lifetime. So that's the good news. The good news is you're going to make money your whole lifetime. The bad news is that because of inflation, because of governments can't balancing their budget, because of inflation and everything's getting more expensive, you're going to spend all of that. You're going to spend all of that, and most people are going to retire or die broke and in debt. That's the bad news. So the good news is you're going to make a lot of money. The bad news is that you're probably going to, the vast majority of people are going to die in debt and broke. But it doesn't have to be that way because there's a solution to that. There is a way that we can fix that. And it was in the number two part, the manage. Now, everybody's going to make it, and they're going to manage it. Even if they don't think they're managing it, they're managing it. They're just managing it badly. So that's the good and the bad. Now, the good news is that all of you are going to have millions of dollars go through your fingertips in your lifetime. Now, what do you want to do with that money? You know, life's a game. Life's a game, and games are fun. Business is a game, and games are fun. Finance is a game, and games are fun. Life is a game, and games are fun. You are a spiritual being that was put on this earth to have an earthly experience. You're put on this earth to play a game. You're here to play a game and to have some fun and to have experiences. So the good news is you're going to have some wonderful experiences in the game of life. Now, all of you, want you to take out a piece of paper, and I want you to play some part of this game with me. So part of the game is that you are all going to do some amazing things. And all of you are born, and all of you are going to die. And on your tombstone, there's going to be two dates, the day you were born and the day you die. But what did you do in between that time? What were the games that you played? What were the things you did? What's on your bucket list? I want you to take out that paper and write down all the things on your bucket list. Where do you want to go? What are the places you want to go? What are the things you want to see? Who are the people you want to meet? What are the experiences that you would like to have? Start making a quick little group right there and write down some notes. What do you want to see? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? These are all things that are part of where the goal of the game of life is. So in the game of life, you have a bucket list. What do you want to see? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Now, part of that bucket list is the challenge of getting there. Life's a game, and games are fun. The fun part about this is that it's not about getting there, the destination. The fun part's the journey. So our goal is to have fun during that journey. So the good news is you're all going to make a lot of money in your lifetime. The good news is you're going to see things. The good news is that you're going to have things. You're going to have possessions. You're going to have cars. You're going to have houses. You're going to do all these wonderful things. But when you get older, you know, I'm turning 65 in a couple months. You're starting to look back on your life and go, well, everybody wants to make enough money so that they can quit and retire. Well, guess what? What's after retirement? It's death. So we don't want to do that. I was teaching some college kids the other day, and I said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $1 million if you give me 10 years of your life. I want to feel as good as you. I want as much energy as you. $1 million. Nobody took me up on it. enjoy where you're at. Wherever you are, that's where you were meant to be. So the good news is you're going to have experiences. You're going to experience things. You're going to travel the world. You're going to travel your own neighborhood. You're going to travel your own country. You can do that. It's all part of the game. And we want you to be able to do that. I've been to 50 countries. I've been around the world going to the east. I've been around the world going to the west, and I've zigzagged all around it. I've seen Mount Everest from the left side of the world. I've seen it from the right side of the world. I've seen it from Kathmandu, and I've seen it from Tibet, China. I've seen it from a helicopter. I've seen it from airplanes. I love traveling. I've met people all over the world of all walks of life. I've been to 50 countries. I've been to China multiple times. There's not really a place on earth that I really have a desire to see now. I've seen all of it. But one thing that I've learned is that every parent wants to have a better life for their kids. I've seen that all over the world. As we've worked with women starting small businesses in India, the one thing that I learn is that they want their children to have a better life. They need to make some extra money so that they can get their kids in school, so they can get them supplies, so that they can give them a better life. Everywhere I go, I see people wanting a better life for themselves, a better life for their family and their friends. So the good news is you're going to manage and spend money your whole life. The bad news is that for most people, because they don't know how to do number two, which is to manage it and to make it grow, they're probably not going to make it, and they're not going to win the game of life. Now, many of you have been dealt some pretty lousy cards. In the card game of life, you've been dealt some lousy cards. Now, the good news is that you can discard those cards and get new cards. Now, how do you get new cards? Well, you study successful people. You go out into the marketplace and make things happen. You start small businesses. You take action. And when you take action, you get a new card, and you can throw away your old card. Your goal is to get a winning hand and to win that game of life. So the good news is you're going to make money. The bad news is that you're probably not going to make it very well. But the solution is you can change your stars. You can change your cards. The SuccessOfMoneyFoundation.org is a nonprofit educational charity. It's an NGO. It's a foundation that is supported by best-selling authors, educators, and entrepreneurs. Now, the foundation was founded by my wife and I, LaDawn. And we wanted to make a huge difference in the world. When I turned 60, I decided that I could go conquer another big mountain and do another big company, or I could try and improve the world. So we took 3 million of our US dollars that we made. We started with pretty much nothing. Now, I had an advantage over the vast majority of people. My dad is 4 days older than Warren Buffett. And I had a mini Warren Buffett that taught us. Now, my dad didn't make the kind of money that Warren Buffett made. We grew up in a very small town. We had some great experiences, but he taught me by doing, not by talking. We did it by doing. When I was young, I made my first $100, and my dad says, "Congratulations, you're $100 heir." And I did that because I was washing dishes at a truck stop. I was just a teenager. I took that money, and my dad not only talked about it, but we opened up an investment account, and I started investing in companies. We opened a stock account, and I started learning about companies. I took that money and we invested it, and we did it helping people get into cars, and we did some financing. And I was making 12% on my money as a teenager. To be successful is not to be complicated. To be successful is to simplify. It's to simplify and then multiply. Anybody can make something complex. The real trick is, can you make it simple? Can you simplify and multiply? That's the key. Now, this last week, I taught 4 classes in a university, major university, and these are smart kids. And I asked them what the S&P was or what the Dow was. And out of 100 kids, less than 10% knew what it was. Now, these are smart kids. They know trigonometry. They know advanced physics, but they don't know the simplicity of things. That's where we're going wrong. You don't need to be complicated. In fact, complication kills it. You need to simplify. How do you simplify and then multiply? Simplify and then multiply. So my wife and I put $3 million into the foundation. Now you're asking, what's the catch? Well, why are we doing this? Well, this is a legacy project. This is a legacy project by best-selling authors, educators, and entrepreneurs. Now, I was lucky. I had a wonderful set of parents that taught us kids about success and money. And success and money is not about having a whole bunch of money. Success and money is doing good with that money. Success and money is to have an influence for good for people. All money does is make you more of what you are. If you're a jerk and you got a lot of money, then you become a bigger jerk. But if you're good with money and you help people with money and you help them to learn, particularly if they're said it best, the only way you can get what you want out of life is to help other people get what they want out of life. Robert Allen said, good parents give their kids good memories. Bad parents give their kids bad memories. So in this game of life, there are some rules that you have to play by. So the good news, you're going to make money. The bad news is you don't know how to manage it. You don't know how to make it grow because everybody's making it complicated. We're going to simplify it for you. This has to be so simple that you can teach somebody on the back of an envelope the 5 steps. And part of this class today is I want to make sure you understand those 5 steps. Your goal is to share the wealth. What's the wealth? The wealth is the education. The wealth is the knowledge. The wealth is the motivation. The wealth is pulling the trigger and making it happen and doing something, even if you only do it okay. There's 5 steps. There's 5 steps, only 5. Now you can add more layers to it, but number 1, you have to learn how to make more money. You have to learn how to make more money because the governments of the world can't balance their budgets. So what are they doing? They are printing more money. They're in debt. United States of America is $32 trillion in debt. Now they have assets, but they're also in debt and they're paying a lot of money out and they're in debt. A lot of the countries are in debt. They can't even manage themselves. So we need to fix that. So number 1 is you need to learn how to make more money because of inflation. Step number 2 is you need to separate your money. You need to figure out what you want your money to do. You need to put it on a plan. You put it on a mission. Hey, this is my little soldiers going out there, and what are they going to do? Number 3, you need to give some of it away. You need to give it to individuals, church, and charities. It's a spiritual law, and it's also a business law. If you want to hang out with wonderful people, find people that are giving because they want to help other people. Zig Ziglar, the only way you can get what you want out of life is to help other people get what they want out of life. Your goal is to help other people get what they want out of life. Number 4, this is the most important part, is to invest and to automatically invest. To automatically invest. Now you're going, I don't know how to automatically invest. Well, guess what? We do. And all these best-selling authors and educators, we're going to teach you how to do it. And it's really simple. If Warren Buffett has on his desk a box, and when he gets a deal, the box says too hard. And he looks at it and goes, that's too hard. I don't want to do it. I want to do easy things. I don't want to jump over a big high bar. I want to step over a little bar. Find me something that's simple and easy. You teach the simplicity of that. And if there's only one thing that you ever take from me, and I never ever see you again, but you start investing, you automatically invest, and you get your money to work for you. That's the difference between success and failure. Number 5 is to save and spend. You need a little bit of money in savings, but the real goal is to put your money and get it invested. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care where you spend it. Honestly, I really don't. All I care about is how much money you're getting into your long-term investments. That's the key. That's the goal. Long-term investments. Those are the 5 steps. Now, step number 1 is you need to learn how to make more money. The way you learn how to make more money is you study successful people. You solve bigger problems and you add more value. You're more valuable than somebody else. You're more valuable. That's how you do it. So the Success Money Foundation, following those steps, is purpose. What is the purpose of the Success and Money Foundation? The purpose of the Success Money Foundation is to help you and your family and your friends have a better life by providing free Success and Money classes for anyone, anywhere. That's our purpose. That's what we do. We want to make a difference in your life. Now, what's the catch? Well, there is no catch. We're not looking for your money. We've already funded it. We put $3 million into the foundation. It's got plenty of money. We've already given out over $109,000 to students to help them get started. We've already donated $1.5 million to help schools, churches, and charities and nonprofit groups do this as a group. And of course, that money that we have in the foundation is still growing. So we still have multiple millions of dollars in there. And we have lots of friends that are going to help us out. We're not going to run out of money. We don't need your money. We've already got the money. It's already funded. What we need is your help. We need your help to share the wealth. We could have taken all that money and advertised on Facebook. We could have given that money to Mark Zuckerberg and said, here are our classes. We're just going to go spend the money on there. And then people could go to some of those classes. The problem is that it doesn't solve the biggest problem, which is our mission. Mission number one is to provide financial rewards for our students when they attend online classes and share with others. So by doing it this way, we had a decision to make. Do we give that money to Facebook or do we give it to you? And I'm proud to announce to you that we've already given over $109,000 to students all over the world. We know of over 3,000 of you that have started saving and investing because you've shown us, because mission number one is to provide financial rewards for students. And we've done 40,000 small financial rewards to students all over the world. That's mission number one. And that's how we make that work. Now, mission number two is to provide an educational platform and donations to schools and churches and nonprofits and charities. So you can do this together as a group. We wanted to make this fun. It has to be educational, but it has to be competitive. We want this to be competitive and fun. So we have all kinds of schools all over the world that are competing with each other. When you enroll someone, because we're going to ask you to enroll people, you're going to share with others. Now, when you enroll somebody, they're part of your group. They are part of your group. Now, your job is to help them be successful. Your job is to be their cheerleader. Your job is to encourage them. Your job is to take them by the hand and help them get that investment account open and help them get money moved into that account and get them going. My dad just didn't talk about stuff. We did it. We just did it. We didn't talk a lot about it. We just did it. Do something, even if it's just okay. Mission number three is to help those in need. To help those in need. So for every hour you're in class, the foundation is going to donate a pair of eyeglasses. We're going to feed someone, or we're going to provide some gallons of clean water. Those are our main three things that we're doing. Now, we do an awful lot of other stuff besides that. There's all kinds of organizations. There's hundreds and hundreds of organizations that we have donated to because they are helping those in need. That's the goal. The purpose of the foundation is to help those in need. Now, for every hour you're in class, we're going to donate glasses, meals, or gallons of clean water, or something else. That's our missions. Now, going back to the 5 steps. Step number one, you need to learn how to make more money. You do that by studying successful people. The foundation is supported and by best-selling authors, educators, and entrepreneurs. This is a legacy project. This is a project by best-selling authors that want to help you have a better life. We have educators and best-selling authors all over the world that are part of this organization to help you get to your next step. It's a legacy project. I'm turning 65. Most of the guys I did a lot of work with are in their 70s. We're giving back. So we created the Success Money Foundation, where we study successful people. We study how they do it, and then we go out and model that. We do like they do on success and money. That's the purpose. And if you'll do what they do and do it like they did it, you'll be successful. Now, if your grandmother gave you the recipe to her famous cake, and if you made it exactly the same way in the same order, you could make a beautiful cake just like she did. Now, she probably is not going to tell you all the secrets, but most likely she will, because she wants you to have a better life. She wants to pass it down. This is a legacy project for us. That's the catch. The catch is we're going to ask you to share it. We're not going to ask you to give us money. We've already put money in it. We're not going to ask you to give us money. We've already funded it. but we're going to ask you to help us to share the wealth. Because mission number one is to provide financial rewards for students, because we want to encourage you to get that investment account and get started. When you have an investment account, when you start investing, you think differently. It changes your world. You're not just a consumer, you're an investor, you're a small business person, and you can play that game, and that game is fun. Now, honestly, you don't need us. You don't need our money. The money we have, we're going to send out to the people who need it. You don't need us. You really don't. You just need the strategies and the systems. Step number one is to make more money. Step number two is to separate it. Number three, you got to help other people. Individuals, churches, and charities. These are the 5 steps. You have to help other people. It's a spiritual law. That's why you're put on earth. We're all brothers and sisters on this earth. We're all spiritual beings that are having an earthly experience. And yes, there's some brothers and sisters out there that are probably not very nice, but they're having a physical being, an earthly life, and they were probably throwing some terrible cards. Let's go see if we can help them. The only way you can get what you want out of life is help other people get what they want out of life. That's the key. That's the goal. Good parents give their kids good memories. Bad parents give their kids bad memories. I have wonderful memories of my family and my parents. They made a huge difference in my life. Other people have made a huge difference in my life. There was a lady in our neighborhood that gave 6 of us kids in the neighborhood, and we were all young, barely teenagers, and some were not even teenagers. And she gave each of us $2 to start saving, investing for college, for marriage, and for a Christian mission to help other people. Now, $2 50 years ago is like, $50 or $60 today, and she didn't have the money. She didn't have the money. Her husband had passed away tragically at a very young age. She was the elementary school librarian. She had very bad health. And she was single. She was all alone. But she gave us this little money, and she did something very different too with it. She gave us 22 cents to give away. So she gave us the $2, and she gave us 22 cents to give away to help other people. She was teaching us a lesson. Now, she didn't get up there and just talk about it. She actually did it. She delivered this little bank with this money in it, and she taught us about step number 3 is to give. She taught us about all 5 steps, actually. Now, this is the first time an outsider, besides my mom and dad or my grandpa or someone else, had given us money to do something. It was an outsider. And guess what? Now the outsider agreed with my parents. Oh, this must be true. This must be the way it works. We have replicated that thousands and thousands of thousands of times. That's my business card. I give out $2 bills and 22 cents to go with it. She has no idea. She passed away quite a few years ago. Us 6 kids were the pallbearers when she passed away. When she was at the cemetery, we were the ones that delivered her to her final resting place. She made a difference on me, and she has no idea that one thing has been replicated thousands and thousands of times. You don't know what kind of impact you will have when you drop a little pebble out in a lake. It has ripples, and many times you can't see those ripples. Mrs. Broadhead, who gave me that money, has no idea of what happened afterwards. Many of you are going to do great things, and you're not going to know, really, did it make a difference? But many times you're going to see that difference. You're going to see how it's made a difference in people's lives. You got to do that. That's step number 3. Number 4 is you got to automatically invest. Here's the key with automatically investing. Everybody makes it complicated. Why? Well, when you hear things on the radio or TV about the stock market, it went up, it went down, whatever. What are they doing? They're trying to make you watch because they want you to watch their program. They're looking for eyeballs. The reality is that it's very simple to invest in long-term stock. There's 4 ways to do it. Number 1, you can pick and choose. What's so funny is that when people get a little money in their investment account, they think they have to go gamble. Hey, we're going to Vegas. I'm going to buy this, I'm going to sell this, and I'm going to buy it now and sell it here, and I'm going to time it and everything else. That's not how it works. You pick and choose, you lose. Unless you're really, really good at it. and some people are very, very good at it. Number two is you can hire somebody. It's a mutual fund, and you can pay them to pick and choose for you. The only problem is the fees are a little bit higher. And you probably never see how much the fees are unless you really dig into the deep, deep small print. But a lot of times it's going to cost you 1% to 2%. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot. But if you made 6% and you lost two of it, well, they just took 33% of your earnings. So number three is the S&P 500, the 500 biggest companies in America. This is an index. Now, an index is there are all kinds of big companies that you can invest in the S&P 500, and you aren't picking and choosing. It's just the 500 largest companies in America that are worldwide. I was at a little cafe just below Mount Everest, and guess what? They had Coca-Cola there. Coca-Cola has hundreds and hundreds of brands besides Coke, and they're all over the world. We want to invest in companies that are worldwide, and so we just take the 500 biggest. We call it the S&P 500, and it's an index. And the fees are very, very low because nobody's picking and choosing. They're just taking the biggest 500 and putting it into an index. So if you made 6% on your investment, you're going to pay out maybe 0.5%, maybe, or even less for money under management. So your net will be higher. And our favorite that we like is Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway was started by and run by Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. And it's a massive conglomerate. It's a stock, just like Apple's a stock, just like Nike's a stock or McDonald's is a stock. But it's a massive, big insurance company. And that big insurance company buys all kinds of other companies. And they've been doing this for decades, for 60 plus years. And when you buy that stock, there's a small commission you have to pay when you buy it. But after that, there's no more money under management. So if you get the same 6% rate of return, there's no other cost to it. So you get to keep that 6%. The same is true if the stock did 10% or 12%. Over time, the Berkshire Hathaway Warren Buffett stock has outperformed the 500 biggest companies over time. Some years the S&P does better than Berkshire Hathaway, but many years Berkshire Hathaway will do better. Berkshire Hathaway outperforms the S&P 500, who outperforms mutual funds, who outperforms picking and choosing. So I'm going to teach you real quick. You don't want to pick and choose. Now, if you want to take a little bit of your money and go play and have some fun with it, we'll do that. But don't be gambling the farm on it. Take a little bit of that. You're going to take a little bit of it, but most of it should be in the S&P 500 or Berkshire Hathaway. You're going to loan or own things. You're going to loan or own things. Now, what's the difference? Part of it's asset allocation, but when you loan money, when you go to the bank and you put money into the bank, into your savings account or your checking account, guess what? You're loaning money to the bank. The only difference is they're not paying you anything. In fact, they're going to charge you fees for it. You're loaning money to the bank, but you can loan money to governments. You can loan money to schools. You can loan money to companies, and you can get a nice rate of return on that money. And it's very solid and it's very straight line. If they say they're going to pay you 5%, if you put in $100 at the end of the year, you'll make an extra $5. And it's straight and it's the merry-go-round. It's not going to go up and down. It's just going to be solid. But the other thing is to invest in long-term companies that make money. Now, we're not speculating. Take a little money and put it in crypto and stuff like that if you want, but the vast majority of your money needs to be into the S&P 500 because they're the 500 largest companies, and over time they're going to outperform mutual funds and they're going to outperform picking and choosing. But our favorite's Berkshire Hathaway because it's a stock. And so mission number one for us is to give out financial rewards to students for attending online classes and for sharing with others. When you attend online classes, like our classes we do on Thursday, we do a lot of live classes, either on Zoom or live in a classroom or church or another organization. You can earn money by sharing this video, the Share the Wealth and Win video. And when you do that, we're going to give you some stock and we're going to give the individual who watched it some stock. You can go through the Earn While You Learn classes, and those classes are based on my best-selling books, The 5 Success Money Steps to Financial Freedom, plus other classes that we've put in there because we want to give you some stock to get you going. Now, why stock? Again, why stock and not just cash? Because the hardest thing for most people to do is to start investing. We're going to give you a little money tree. A little money tree is Berkshire Hathaway stock. And then it's your job to grow it. It's your job to water it. It's your job to take care of it. It's your job to grow a whole orchard of money trees. We're going to give you a starter and we're going to help you get started because that's the mission. That's our mission. If the only thing we ever did was to help you get started and you did it and you put money away on a weekly, monthly basis in long-term stock. I don't care if the stock's going up. I don't care if it's going down over a long period of time because of inflation. And if you own things that go up in value, we call it appreciation because we appreciate it. It's going to solve the vast majority of your financial problems. It's going to solve the vast majority of your financial problems if you'll do that one thing. That's why we give out our stock. The other thing is that every adult I've ever talked to said the one thing that they wish they would have done was to start investing at an earlier age. Why? Because of compounding. Now, if you'll do this one thing and I never saw you ever again, and you just started investing and you automatically set it up so it pulls money out of your checking account or savings account every month and puts it into a separate account, your long-term investment account, your financial freedom account, it's going to solve the vast majority of your financial problems in your lifetime. You got to figure out how to take 5, 10, 15% of that money you make and get it into long-term. Now, you got to learn how to make more money. Many of you need to make more money at your job, and there's all kinds of ways that we can teach you how to make more money at your job. That is probably one of your greatest wealth generating assets is your job. But we got to get that money and we got to make extra money and more money because of inflation. Many of you need a small business on the side. One, so you can teach your kids how to work. Number 2 is for tax savings. And number 3, to make more money. All my small businesses, when we make a profit, guess where it all goes? It all goes down to number 4, to the automatically invest. All the profits we make from our businesses go into our long-term investment because we do the wealth formula. The automatic invest, there's only 4 pieces to the wealth formula. Number 1, you need to put away money on a monthly basis. Money on a monthly basis. Times have a go up in value. If you put your money in your savings account, that's over in step number 5. It's not making you any money. You have to invest it. You have to invest it in companies that make money. The 500 biggest companies in America make money. You need to have a go up in value. And you have to do it over time. You have to do it over time. This isn't a get rich quick. This is a get wealthy over a period of time. You have to do it over a period of time, a long period of time. That equals wealth. That's the wealth formula. Monthly investments. Times have them go up in value. Times time. That equals wealth. And that's what you're really trying to do. And you're trying to teach that to your kids. So you can pass down your wealth to the next generation. So you can be outrageously generous with your money. Why? Because you learned how to play the game. So the Success Money Foundation is supported by best-selling authors, educators, and entrepreneurs. We have all kinds of classes there. The goal of the foundation is to have you do this in a fun way. The goal is to have you share the wealth. That's part of our mission, is to share the wealth with others. If you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you sell him a fishing pole and then teach him how to fish, you can feed him for a lifetime. But if you can teach him how to teach, you can change a generation. You can change a whole generation of lives. And that's really what you put on this earth to do, is to improve other people's lives. So the foundation is designed for you to share with other people. And when you do, we're going to give you financial rewards to do that because we want to help you get started. You don't need us, but if you need us, we're there for you. Now, when we created the foundation, step number 1 is you need to learn how to make more money. You need to study successful people. You need to study and do what they do. Now, years ago, as I was working very closely with my good friend Robert Allen, who's been a wonderful mentor and friend of mine for decades, Mark Victor Hansen, who did the Chicken Soup for the Soul, and many, many other people, I was able to meet and work with a lot of wonderful people. You see, when I was 34 years of age, something happened to me that changed my life forever. I had a heart attack. As they were wheeling me into the operating room, I looked over at my wife and wondered if I was coming back, because 1/3 of the people who have a heart attack, the first sign they have any problem is death. And I was lucky. And as I was in that operating room, I wondered, was I coming back? And if I didn't come back, who was going to take care of my two special needs children who are now adults? But back then they were just very young. Who's going to take care of my wife? Well, the government isn't going to take care of them because the government can't take care of itself. Now, I was lucky. I made a vow after that to take better care of myself and to figure out systems to be able to make some money to be able to take care of these special needs kids. And I was talking to my good friend Robert Allen one day, and I was talking to him about my dilemma because I have, we back 30 plus years ago, the word autism was very new and nobody really knew much about it. And we found a program to put my son in, but it was $40,000 and we'd have to move to Los Angeles, California. Now, $40,000 today, in today's money is probably $150,000. And I didn't have a job. I didn't have the money. And I asked Bob what I should do, and he says, well, Tom, go make enough money that you can put your kids in any program you want and never, ever regret it. You can help your children with that money. You can help them with the things they need and never, ever regret it. And so my wife and I went to work. We started fixing up little houses. We fixed up houses and then we turned around and sold them. We fixed up houses, turned around and sold them. We bought long-term rental units that we kept. Some of those units we kept for almost 40 years, 30 plus years. We started small businesses. We did things on the internet. We did all kinds of fun things. We played the game. We played the game of life. We played the game of money. And that's how we figured out how to do it. Now, today, fast forward to today, my special needs kids are taken care of. If something happens to me, my kids are taken care of because the government isn't going to take care of you. You have to take care of yourself. And life's a game and games are fun. So let's go play that game. So the foundation was created and endorsed and supported by best-selling authors, educators, and entrepreneurs. And we teach you those things. Now, the programs that we created, that I helped create, the Robert Allen, who created Multiple Streams of Income, and Mark Victor Hansen, and Robert wrote many books, 1 Minute Millionaire, Cracking the Millionaire Code. And then, of course, my books, The 5 Steps to Financial Freedom. Well, many years ago, before the advent of the internet being as big as it is, it was very expensive to create that product. It was very expensive to fulfill, and it was $5,000. If you wanted to go through those programs, and they had some live events and things that went with it, but it was $5,000, and a lot of people bought that. But you're not going to pay $1,000 to be part of the foundation. You're not going to pay $5,000. You're not going to pay $1,000. You're not going to pay $500. You're not going to pay $100. You're not going to pay $20. It's free. It's free. Now, why is it free? Because it's a foundation. It's a charity. It's an NGO. It's a foundation. It's a legacy project by best-selling authors, educators, and entrepreneurs. This is how we give back. Most of the friends I worked with are getting older. I'm turning 65. They're in the mid 70s. And this is a legacy project for us. So what's the catch? The catch is we're going to ask you to help us to share the wealth and share with other people. We're not going to ask you to buy a lot of stuff. We're not going to ask you to buy anything. We're going to ask you to share with other people. Because we know that we could spend all that money on advertising and we could affect people, but it's not going to affect you. It's not going to get to you because you're going to spend a lot of money to buy this material. So we're doing it by word of mouth. We're doing it by referral. So that's how you get started. Now, when you get started, you can go through the Share the Wealth and Win class, and you can share that with other people. When you do, we're going to give you some stock, and we're going to give the person who watches the video stock. And then when they go through the Earn While You Learn classes, we're going to give you more stock. When you come to our live classes, we're going to give you some stock. Why? Because we want you to get going. When we give you that stock, it's going to go in your vault. And then when you have at least $10, we suggest you go, more like 20 or more than that. Then you're going to redeem your stock. And then we're going to send you the stock. We're going to send you the Warren Buffett stock to put into your investment account. Now we're going to ask you leave it there. We're going to ask you to do the hard thing. The one thing that separates people that are financially free versus others is they do long-term investing. They put the money into the investment account, and then they leave it alone and they let it grow. So we're going to ask you to leave it there. Now, we're not going to tell you what to do with the investments. You can buy and sell if you want to. You can do what other stuff. We're going to tell you what to do, what we want you to do with our money. We want you to put it into Berkshire Hathaway or the S&P 500 and leave it alone. Your goal is to do step number one. You need to learn how to make more money. You do that with your job and with your small businesses. And then as you make that extra money, those profits, that additional money from your small businesses and extra money from your job go down to step number 4 to automatically invest. That's the key. That's the key to becoming financially independent. And then when you put that money in, you put it in on a monthly basis, you have it go up in value. You do it over time, that equals wealth. And if you study the successful people, that's how they did it. They didn't go roll the dice in Vegas and win all this kind of money. And if they did, they're going to lose it just as fast. We're planting money trees that take time to grow. But when they grow, they're solid. They have a great root system and they produce fruit every year. And some of our trees produce fruit on a weekly basis. And we're going to teach you how to do that because we have classes on success. We have classes on real estate. All of you have to have a place to live. Well, let's teach you how to make some money on it or how to pay your real estate off faster. The foundation was donated $3 million, and we did that because of the real estate we owned and the Warren Buffett stock. That's how we got the money into the foundation. Now you're saying, well, why did he put $3 million into it? Well, because I made $10 million in my real estate. My kids are taken care of, and we got plenty of money. You're going to teach you about how to make more money with your multi-level marketing, your direct selling. Some of you are doing that, and that's a great way to do it, but you got to do it the right way. We're going to teach you about investments. We're going to teach you how to do it like Warren Buffett does. In fact, don't compete with Warren Buffett. Just give them the money and let them do it. Like give it the 500 biggest companies in America. Let them do it for you. So you can spend your 20% to get you 80% of your results. The 20-80 rule says that if you spend 20% of your time, it'll get you 80% of your results. 20% of the things you do get you 80% of your results. So why are you spending time in the other side of that? Spend all your time doing the 20%. Make more money. As you get that money, you put it down into 4, automatically invest, and let that grow passively. Let it just grow. That's the key. You don't spend your time day trading stock. That's stupid. You pick and choose, you lose unless you're really good at it. Unless you're managing a lot of other people's money, which most of you won't be doing. That's the key. That's the Success Money Foundation. That's why we're here. Now I'm going to ask you to do something. I'm going to ask you to help us. I'm going to ask you to help us to share the wealth. That's the catch. For all this great material that we have, the catch is we're going to ask you to share it. And even if you don't share it, we want you to share it with your kids. We want you to share it with them. Your job is to help you and your family have a better life, and hopefully your friends and other people to have a better life. That's the foundation. So successmoneyfoundation.org. When you sign up, you have the ability to share your personal link. Everybody has a personal link. So if you ever get going, you get started and you're not sure where to go, just go back to home, which is number 1, home and start. And then pull it down to number 2, which is start worldwide, because we have different programs and different translations for people worldwide. And number 3 is for the United States. Start if you're in the United States. That's really the key to what we do. And then you're going to share your link. And when you share your link, you're going to encourage them to watch the Share the Wealth and Win and go through the Earn While You Learn classes. And then your job is to be their cheerleader. Your job is to help them get to that next level. That's your job. And we're going to ask you to help us. We're going to ask you to help us to share that wealth. Now, in closing, make a difference. Make a difference. Make it happen. And just remember that every life is precious. We're all spiritual children having an earthly experience. That guy down the street is doing the best job he can with what he's got. Your job is to help him. Your job is to help those in need. Because every one of you are a miracle. You are a miracle. It's a miracle that you're here. Your physical body is a miracle. And no, you didn't crawl out from underneath some kind of rock. You are a spiritual being having an earthly experience. Make a difference. Make it happen. Every life is precious. You're a miracle. Thanks for watching.